Good afternoon. It is the 29th of September 2019, and we're going to jump in and go through our altcoins. Looks like we have some great opportunities setting up, and our indicators should be giving us the confirmation on that. Let's jump in. In this episode, we're going to go through the 6 major cryptocurrencies that trade on Bitmex, and we're going to look at the relative strength index, the on-balance volume, the MACD, and the Ichimoku at each one of them, and then we'll move on to the next one. Great to have you subscribed. Thank you very much for joining us. And before we jump into the video, I'll let this animation run its course here. I guess I got this set up for a little bit too long. We'll check that out. But thank you again for subscribing. I want to give a big thank you to the people who are now patron sponsors supporting this channel and getting access to the spreadsheet that we'll take a look at later in the episode. Before we go into the charts, let's go through the disclaimer. This isn't trading advice, just market observation. Now, let's jump into the charts right now. I am still working at getting the chat box to work on the right hand side. So if you are here, give me a hello and let me know where in the world you are from. Let me know if the chat is working, and I am experimenting now to see if the chat will actually come up into the feed. So in the meantime, we're checking out the price of Bitcoin right now. And this is a unique chart that is 20-second bars. So you can see that if you're trading by the 1-minute bar, there are bots that are trading by smaller time frames, and this is where manipulation happens in my mind. In these close ranges, when people put on too big of a short position with their stop losses too close in an obvious spot, the bots can sniff it out. They can measure it. They know exactly how far to sell to be able to hit those things, or buy to hit those things. My conspiracy theory. I guess that chat along the side isn't going to work. Hey, Smoking Altcoins, be sure to come and join us on Discord. Very good. Hi from UK, Ranj J. Good to have you along. I appreciate it. So the purpose of this stream is to go through these cryptocurrencies now. We have gone through over the last few episodes, just in a brief review, we've already identified that we have broken the downtrend line. And we have identified that we do have a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation setting up. And now we're watching for confirmation that it is actually going to break higher and not just go sideways for months. And the way we're watching for that confirmation is by looking through these indicators. In the RSI, on this 1-day view, we can see a very clear divergence from prices being sideways, and this RSI is setting up beautifully. As it breaks above these levels here, we are in good country. Then we can say, I would say that this is confirming that it's breaking up, and as we go above these levels here, it's going to confirm our entry signal all the way along. We should see this go way up into overbought territory as this is breaking out. So we have a great 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here on the 1-day view. Now I want to go through the indicators on each time frame here now. So on the 1-day view, we can see that we have some good buying on the right-hand side of this chart. I love it because we started out in early August hitting the bottom, and we've bottomed and bottomed a few times. Now at the second half of this 2-month sideways pattern, we've got a significant shift in the buying. That is really great for supporting that this is a bullish setup right now from where we are. I have to slide this over, and I want to go back to the 1-year view of this chart as well for ADA. And we can see that we're coming up in the yearly view, the 1-day view. This has not crossed positive yet. And I would anticipate that is going to cross to the positive as prices are building up and going above these levels. So now we're going to go into the closer time frames to see if this is telling us that we're going to be building and going higher yet, Or is this cross on the daily that significant and it's going to be moving us down further? Certainly, it has to cross positive before we can have that breakout we're looking for. Now, the last one I want to look at here is the Ichimoku cloud for the same thing. In the 1 day view, it is not broken up through the cloud yet, but it gives us those very same parameters as we saw in the long term for the RSI. So now let's go in for a close range decision on this. We should get data from our indicators about whether or not this is going to break higher from this triangle or it is going to break lower from this triangle. We should know precisely what we're looking for in the breakout of this movement. So we could be buying as a swing trader. We could buy on the bounces off of these levels. As a trend trader, we would wait until the trend proved itself and started to really change directions. And this would be a micro, maybe a nano trade. And then we would consider that we would add on if we are proven correct and it really starts to change directions. But we don't want to load up here. We could, but usually, you know, I wrote that book about when to use greed and fear in your trading. Most people who trade poorly, and I've been in that group, and I'll probably be in that group again, put on too large of a trade at the beginning. They're too greedy at the beginning of the trade. The better traders are greedy later in the trade, after they're proven correct. So even if you are proven correct here, there is so much risk at this level of holding sideways, never mind it going down, that we don't want to load up here, even if it, in hindsight, would have been the perfect moment. It's just too risky to buy as it's going down. You could start off with a small bit and add on when you're correct. And so as I zoom in on this, I am getting the feel that we are building up. I am getting this feel that we are building and we could be breaking higher than that. So as we're seeing the RSI on the 4-hour time frame break up above this, that's going to confirm everything, all of the chart patterns. This whole thing will be confirmed right off that takeoff. And if we go into the 4-hour time frame now for ADA and look at the volume, dumping, less dumping, not very definitive overall. And that'll show us as it unfolds. That's not a leading indicator. Now for the 4-hour time frame, this isn't good. The 4-hour time frame is crossed over to the negative. I got to see the 12-hour time frame because the daily was crossed negative. The 12-hour time frame isn't crossed negative, but it's not looking no hell. Let's zoom in on it. It is negative. It never crossed positive. So the daily is negative, the 12-hour is negative, the 4-hour is still negative. The 1 hour has crossed positive and has a bullish divergence here. Let's take a look at this. All right, so that's crossed positive and has the bullish divergence, but as everything is starting to show, it's really backing up that everything's got to go above these levels here for it to stage and show that it's really changed direction. And it may not take that long. Hey, the chat is working. I see a Cash, good to have you along. I see a head and shoulders on the RSI. Let's go back to the RSI. A head and shoulders on the RSI. I wasn't watching for a shoulder and a head and a shoulder. It would, we have the shoulder here. It matches pretty good, but it's a little bit leading, eh? We had the bearish divergence here at this top, kind of rounded and not much help at all here. But again, for me, it's the overall trend on the 4-hour. If I go out to the 12-hour, the trend is still good. We got higher lows all the way along. And then we've got this setting up at the end so that if we do break above these levels, that's where the bullish moves happen. Let's zoom in now. The last one to look at for ADA that's going to confirm things for this reading. Whoops, let's go to the 4-hour time frame of the Ichimoku cloud, back it up a little bit, and it's also confirming that there's no buy signal at this moment. it really has to stage up above this cloud. So everything is telling us that yes, it's coming, but risk and just the whole momentum change says to wait. Otherwise, we could be waiting sideways instead. Now, the great thing is to see how this plays out over the next few days, to see what actually happens with these indicators. Now that they've given us some very specific levels to be watching, to see how this plays out is the fun part. ABC now, this one we didn't spend very much time on yesterday at all because it had broken down below these lows. It's made a whole new number 1 point. So it kicks itself right out of my game completely, and for another 2 weeks maybe. And even if it does do a big bounce up and get above these levels, then it starts to, I have to reevaluate it again. It's because it's kicked down to whole new levels, it's kicked out of observation pretty much. The RSI is super oversold at these levels. I'll go and take a look at the MACD. Wow. Quite a super dump there. Oh, it's the 1 hour time frame. That's why it looks so extreme. See, on the 1 day, maybe here it's starting to cross over. It would have to build some structure now before it gets back into contention. All kicked right out. And if more of them do that, that's important to be watching them. So here's another for EOS. Let's go back. The 1 day view, we do have a nice RSI divergence. In the 12-hour time frame, less clear here, less definitive. Okay, it's moving along, but it has to build up above these again. And if it does, it's fitting in with ADA, that it has to build up above these structures to do something for me. And if it does, and you're keen and you really like this project and you're wanting to get in, you could get in with a really nano position here, a very small position, because you've got a very low risk to reward ratio, right? You've got this very close level where you could have your stop that you knew if it started to go down, you were not correct. But if you got in here and it started to go, then you're in a great position. You just hold on to it. Let's go and see what the MACD is. I'll do a longer time frame on balance volume. So we do get buying on the second half of this. Same thing as ADA, which is good. A little bit more funky as we get in closer. And here again, we're not seeing a whole bunch of buying setting up on that. So it does not get me going here. This is better. This is better, but nothing coming up yet right here. And since we had BCH, ABC, or whatever it is, go down, I want to pay attention that this could go down too. So on the 12-hour, this looks very much like ABC in that crossover there. The daily is crossed to the negative, so we have a bit of work to do. On the 4-hour time frame has crossed to the positive. And if it starts to flare to the positive and the histogram starts to grow again as that's breaking above, then that's confirmation. And we should be seeing the 12-hour start to cross to the positive too. So this is not all jumping up and laying out that we've got a good strong signal coming up. It's more waiting for the best moments. Even the Ichimoku cloud here on the 4-hour time frame, we know where here this tells us that if it breaks above these levels, again we're matching technical levels beautifully, that if it breaks above these levels, it confirms that it's probably actually changing direction and really going the other way. We're not really confirmed until we're breaking and we have structure up above this. Then we are in the confirmation zone. So there's still lots of time to put on a small position, add on to it later, and be watching for the next support and resistance level for the move. So there's our, what do you call the measured move? Pretty much double in prices. And it may not happen slowly. It has the potential to do some really fast moves. So let's watch how this plays out over time, because it is making a bigger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that would be really powerful if it turned around and went the other way. Let's go all the way back to the relative strength index and start off with the next coin. Wow, Ethereum looks like it's taken off right now. And it looked like it was taken off yesterday when we did the stream. So it pulled up and pulled back. So now, whoops, what I'm wanting to point out is the RSI divergence. And did I not look at that on the other coins? 4-hour time frame, RSI divergence. 12-hour time frame, stronger RSI divergence. Not terminal, because it can come back up into these levels and the price would shoot above before this got even as overbought. So not terminal, but really gives us a clear line that as we're playing out this potential 1, 2, 3 top formation, really going to be watching for this to pull back on these levels. Even if it's giving us some strength right now. Let's go into the 4-hour time frame again. That's looking pretty good actually from this. So it breaks above these levels, breaks above that, turns it into a buy. But right now, because it's below this 1, 2, 3, it's in super watch zone. Hey RC, good to have you along. Fort Lauderdale. Great update to cover the spreadsheet. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Graphs look much better. Now you understand, eh? The picture, you get that pattern recognition in your mind and you never forget it. Every time you see a chart, that just jumps out at you from now on. And I love it. I'm glad I can share it and pass it along. So, would be glad if you added which coins are still worth getting if you are not into any currently. I do go over those more specifically in the pro alerts where we are watching and giving alerts on the specific coin, the exact entry, exit, and all those details. For the bull market watch, it's a little bit more hands-on for you, where you would have to really understand the 1, 2, 3 formation, and then you just go through chart after chart after chart, and you narrow it down and say, hey, this one is not yet broken out of the 1, 2, 3 formation. Those are the ones that are the golden ones. And as we go along, I want to learn to ignore the ones that have already taken off and use them as a flag to say the market is going to move. Which ones now are in the 1, 2, 3 bottom? They haven't moved yet because they all move on average together. And then there's that bell curve of some that move first. And then there's some at the other end of the bell curve that move last or don't move very much at all. But the ones that are moving second wave will catch those. And Smoking Altcoins, thank you for that share. Get the free webinar over on IntroToCryptos.ca because that explains the patterns that we're looking at here. But more than that, it gives you the 5 stages of the trade from the beginning through the middle, all the way to the end and after the trade is done so that you're getting the whole package. All in like a, what do I say? It's the brief version, the Cole's Notes version of our course, basically. And I give it away for free. It's the real stuff. You can really use it to change the way you're trading. I give it away for free because the people who need it for free need it. You're the people, I was the people that needed it the most. Never mind the people who already have money and just want to tune it more. There is training available for you guys. If you want to tune it more and you want to make this into a habit, I've got more in-depth training than you get in the free webinar. So let's continue on now and watch this. See what's going on for this coin. Ethereum, long-term view. I like the buying here. It's not as nice as the other ones, but because it is showing this divergence, I want to track it. Let's go into the better indicator. I like that one for a quick glance. Now, on the 1-day view, we are really fighting to keep this positive. It's not really doing it so well. On the 12-hour view, it is already crossed negative, and we have this divergence that has given this more of a top formation feel. So to have this divergence and see it, look at this, the histogram divergence as well. I like to track it and know it ahead of time so that if this is now going wider, we know this top formation is real and we're coming down from here. Into the closer zone, I like this if it crosses positive as we're going up. Now we have another clear detail because as this crosses positive in the 4-hour time frame, it will start to spread this apart in the 12-hour time frame and will confirm up crosses, which is a really good divergence. And then we're going to be doing something pretty significant Who knows? Look at this. This is completely opposite to what we're seeing here. So let's watch for this break. If that goes down from here, I really am keen to see how this unfolds now. 4-hour time frame again, just to see how this is. Another 1-hour time frame, I bet you, is crossing positive. Just. And that's okay for it to wobble and come up like that. So again, we're back to the technical levels and waiting for that confirmation to really know. But the more I look at this, the weaker it looked actually. Now let's go into Ethereum, the 1-year view. So actually this is coming up and through the cloud a little bit. So even if it comes back and touches these levels, that's okay. And actually even better for our wanting of the bigger 1, 2, 3 that's going to have the more power. So if it does come back there, it's okay. Let's go into the 12-hour time frame. Again here, this would be a buy signal in the uptrend if it was to bounce off of this properly. The 4-hour time frame is in the cloud. Yesterday we were thinking this must have been looking just a turn to the bullish with this crossover. Because yesterday we were poking through the cloud, just on the edge of the cloud. This looks like it could break higher, but I've been burned with these, what I thought were pre-pump candles. Oh, look at the buying going on here. There's people just willing to, but these turn out to be exhaustion wicks. So if we're breaking below this level and we have this 1, 2, 3 top and we come up and we fail to break it and we go down below these levels, this is now, if this was upside down, can I do it upside down? No, not easily that I can see. But if this was upside down, this would be a springboard entry for a buy signal. So conversely, it is a springboard sell entry coming down below these levels. And the 1-hour Ichimoku would maybe confirm it. Let's watch how that unfolds. Wicked. I didn't expect to find that today, actually. Let's go into Litecoin, long-term view. RSI is doing good. Nice that it is confirming this bottom. So that's holding its own bladder here, basically, as we're getting squished. I like the higher setup here. And yet, we need to have it break above these levels while we're crossing here for this to really prove itself out. Other than that, there's like just sit and wait, basically. This is another one that's telling us to sit and wait out of this pattern. And it really could spring right up out of this, but I want all of those confirmations as we're going along here. So let's go see what Litecoin is for the on-balance volume in the longer time frame. No turning into buying here. This is opposite, where we've got buying here and selling here. What's up with that? If we go into the 12-hour time frame, it's much the same. So that's not helping us out. How about into Litecoin for the MACD in the long-term time frame? Cross to the negative. I wasn't expecting that. Cross to the negative with the potential to cross to the positive, again, if we're breaking up above these levels. So I don't like to buy into it when it's saying that if it, then I'll be correct. Let's wait a little bit on this. So again, let's wait a little bit on this. It's crossed to the negative on this 4-hour time frame. The green is crossed below the red. That's a negative crossover signal, and we've got lower negatives. Wow. So Ethereum looks like it's pulling back. Litecoin looks like it's like don't touch it yet. And it could turn around. This will have to show first, and then the 4-hour will cross and the 12-hour will cross. All of that will happen as we break above these levels. I'll bet you the Ichimoku cloud is going to confirm with us. Let's go into the long-term time frame. This says don't buy me yet. It's still below the cloud. And this is getting there, but it is still below the cloud. We're getting some positive indications, but wow, it's just absolutely setting us up for something above these levels. That is a really awesome key level now. We're in the 12-hour. Here's the 4-hour time frame still. No, don't buy me yet. Don't buy me yet on the 1-hour time frame. 15 minutes says I'm not good for you. Only the 5-minute, this short-term overnight relationship is the only thing that's looking good. We have it is a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. A break above this is the break of the downtrend line, the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And if we looked at the 15-minute time frame, maybe we'd be getting a crossover of that little exponential moving average. So if you're a day trader and you are a swing trader looking for bounces off of something, that is a really good potential right off of these levels. On no matter what size it is, this formation really works. The thing is, the closer the range it is here, the more close you have to be and ready to be getting in and out and in and out and in and out. And the trading pattern I'm trying to look at is a much longer term time frame where you do a lot less work. That's the key thing, is wanting to do just a little bit of work, leave your stop back, and then wait for it to cross back over the top. But I digress, I'm a little off topic there. Let's go on and check out the relative strength index for Tron. Looking good, beautiful levels to confirm here. Even better, I think, than the other charts. Really beautiful levels to confirm. On the 4-hour time frame, beautiful. Like this is a just classic chart. Like somebody went into a boardroom and drew this out and said, let's flip this over now. We've got enough down. Let's flip it over and make it go up. It's looking phenomenal. I'll bet you the rest of the indicators are looking way better for this than for what we just saw in Litecoin. Let's go into the volume first of all. Let's see what the buying is going on. Much better than Litecoin. Look at the buying going on here. And I'm thinking Litecoin's going to go to $800 to $1,000 US in the next year. It's not starting off strong right now. Tron looks like it's changed a corner though. Okay, let's go on to Tron in the MACD for the 12-hour time frame. Oh, I've got to go back. Okay, so this does look quite a bit better. We're not crossed positive, but really building up that histogram could go back positive. It's been mostly positive through this downtrend here. So if we zoom into the 12-hour now, it is not crossed to the positive yet. 4-hour time frame, not yet. 1-hour time frame, just starting. And we had the cross to the positive and a higher cross to the positive as we're building up through here. So I'm thinking that this will show us the 4-hour will cross positive, and it'll be a cross to the positive on the uptrend through this, and that would be really good. That would really give us a clear place all the way along to be building a bit of a position off that. Really nice. But we got to wait for it to cross to the positive. It will. As that breaks above there, that's what will happen. Let's go to the Ichimoku cloud, because this should tell us something different than we saw in Litecoin. And right away, already in the 12-hour time frame, it is above the cloud. Lot about the 1-day view. So in the daily view, it's still below the cloud. Still down below. In the 12-hour time frame, we're already up above it. In the 4-hour time frame, now we're getting built up for that potential for the buy signal to break out above these levels. And remember when we had all of the coins had the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud crossover right here. The blue crossed under the red as we made this double top, and we had these divergences in the other indicators. All of the coins had this cross pretty much on the same day, and then they all came back significantly, really. Now we have the cross to the positive here. And it's setting up in some really key long-term support and resistance levels that when it stages above this, this is huge. This is massive. Beautiful. And I don't want to hold it if it's going to go sideways for another few months. So let's wait for it to actually change the direction and go the other way before we're getting too gung-ho on it. Let me see. T-Torchin, you should mention all those holds are BTC pairs for the alts. They are, for sure. And right along the top here, it's all showing TRX BTC, not versus stablecoin or US dollar. And the reason is I always am working at building up my BTC. Even if BTC is going down for now, I want to take a position that's going to give me more as BTC is going down. So this sort of helps eliminate or hedge my holdings of Bitcoin by having altcoins instead right now while they're going up. Then by the time it's time to turn around again and I sell back to Bitcoin, I have more Bitcoin, and I try to ratchet up and up on both sides. And it takes a long time for that to happen and turn out. And then in the long term, having more Bitcoin is going to be the game plan. So I was faked out before, where I watched my altcoins go up in US dollar, but they were sliding against the price of Bitcoin. And it would have been wiser for me to have my money in Bitcoin than alts that time. And it would have made a huge difference. So I am pretty much ignoring fiat currency. It is plummeting. It is falling. And I only pay attention to it if I have to cash out or what have you. Then I look at the rate. But other than that, for me, it's all against Bitcoin. Now, this is a divergence in this RSI. I'm getting super pumped about these other coins that are looking like they're taking off. And this really could. As it breaks above these levels, that it'll just do that overbought all the way along as we're hitting up higher and higher. We'll have to watch how this unfolds. Overbought, and then we have this divergence. We'll have to watch to see if we have a divergence set up here now, because it is setting up. So we have this higher high and lower high. We do have let's watch to see how this plays out from here, because it looks really strong to me. It looks like a great 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. 12-hour time frame. Let's go into the 4-hour time frame. So this again gives us some clear spots. I expect that if it's going to break higher, the RSI is going to go up here, but it's not looking as strong for me as TRX just was. It looks like this may have some pullback. This is more of a top formation. And we've got some pretty clear ranges here. Let's see what the other indicators are saying. 4-hour time frame. Let's go look at the buying activity in the 12-hour time frame. So we had better buying and less buying going on. That also is a negative. Let's go into the MACD for the 1-year time frame. That's looking better. This is crossed to the positive all the way along here, where the others are not. They're a little bit negative and wanting it to be positive. And the 12-hour time frame crossed negative. We do have a bit of a divergence here across the top. But because it is still crossed to the positive, that's all up from here, up. I would just expect that this is going to continue to expand up to the top side. And there's lots of room for it to do that. We can see in the past, as it breaks up, there's lots of room for this MACD to go very much higher as it breaks out. So as it's building this formation and breaks above this, I just have to trade it. It's just my formation, and I trade it small. Maybe because there's conflicting indicators, I trade a very small position, and then I only hold it if it proves me correct. And I can wait. There'll be another time where it's giving us a better formation. But if it's breaking above, I will trade it. So Ripple, how do we get to Ripple? Ripple on the Ichimoku cloud. Was I looking at Ripple instead of TRX last time? Nope. So Ripple's looking good. It's above the daily. That's one of the few that's above the daily. It's looking good on the 12-hour. It's looking good on the 4-hour. It's already crossed to the positive, like we saw in TRX. And a break above this would be continuing, a confirmation of the buy signal in the uptrend. Still has, it wouldn't be a problem for this to come back to these levels and bounce around in this cloud. All right, let me now go back to Bitcoin and see what the Big Daddy's doing. Oh, okay, we're in Ichimoku cloud. Let's do it. Let's start from the 5-minute no buy signal. It could be on a break above these levels. Back up to the 15-minute. Same thing. Actually, it's better now that we have all of these bottoms along this range, and we have this nice tightening range like this. That's better. I think the other indicators may show us a positive divergence right in here. Whoops, I missed the 1 hour. 1 hour time frame. looking pretty good. So long as we don't break, I got to check the other indicators to see what they're saying now. Because this is all negative. This is all negative. This is all negative. There's no cross to the positive yet here on the 4-hour time frame, like we're seeing in some of the alts. No cross to the positive here on the 1-hour time frame. So I'm wanting it to be bullish and trying to see some potential for bullish, but it's got some staging to do to get above these levels before it can turn bullish. And everybody will be watching that. I am expecting it. I am expecting it to come up to these levels before heading down. Now let me go over to the chat again. Upside down one ticker symbol. Upside down one ticker symbol. I want to understand that. Upside down one ticker symbol. Oops. I don't get it. But, okay, on the spreadsheet. Okay, yes, T-Torch, I will add that into the spreadsheet so that that's clear. What is the big blue background indicator in my chart? When I'm going through all of these charts here, I'm looking at Bitcoin in the background. So I'm always watching to see what are the alts doing versus Bitcoin at that moment. And if we zoom back out to the 1-year view, and we go back to that fateful day on April the 1st, this is a terrible chart to look at it for. Okay, not even that happy for this chart here, but April the 1st was the day that Bitcoin made this big move, and then the alts switched. The Bitcoin dominance really switched from here. We had Bitcoin dominance, the alts doing really well through this period, and then right on this time, all of the alts topped out big time, and we've been in a downtrend since then, and we got this bottom formation. And so I always like to see what is Bitcoin doing in the background compared to each coin. Then we can get an idea. When we see all of these coins, as we start zooming in, we can start to see the moment that Bitcoin is breaking and that alts started to do something different. They all went down with Bitcoin here, but then they're doing something different. You can see as we zoom in and out when they are matching Bitcoin and when they are going against Bitcoin. And of course, this is a main thing to be paying attention to, because if Bitcoin continues to slide down and the alts are continuing to build up here, we should see that manifest in this Bitcoin dominance chart. And I'll go out to the long-term view of this. This is the weekly view. So we see here March 2017 to July 2017. You didn't have much time to make those 4,000% profit. You actually had to be ready for it in advance, knowing your entries and what your exits were going to be so that you stayed in it all the way and you were not FOMOing in and out through this stuff and wrecking yourself. This is a important part right now, is to have these plans in advance and be prepared for them so that you can tell me the plan. I can tell you the plan. You don't need me. I tell you the plan. The plan speaks for itself. And the plan is clear enough that you can learn it and you could take it and you could teach it to somebody else. They could learn it and they could apply it. That's how clear the plan should be. Then you know it's actually like science, and it's not just some hocus pocus. Doug has the inside view on the market. It's not that at all. It's a clear pattern. The hardest part is to overcome yourself so that you sit still and let it all play itself out. That's the hardest part. So as this manifests here, we're going to see all of these bottom formations in our altcoins taking off, and we'll watch this. If it starts to pull back at all, then all of our alts will have to pay attention to it, because there was many times where it looked like it was going to be alt season. Looked like it was going to be alt season. Looks like it's going to be alt season. But this trend is still intact. And if I go back to the long-term view, there is no support and resistance between these levels. It really went through it fast. So I've still been expecting a super extreme spike like this to wreck everybody, right? This is manipulated markets. So when everybody gets all super excited, that's when they're going to get wrecked and it's going to really plummet. So I'm expecting wreckage and then have it plummet. So this is one of the reasons that I'm going through charts like Ethereum and saying, is this a top formation? Really? Is this the top formation? Is this when we're going to get some of that wreckage going on? Right? Everybody starts to get excited and then we get the mega wreckage and then it starts to flip back the other way. And we saw this in December of 2017. Got to go back a long ways. Does this chart have the data on the 12-hour? Maybe I'll just go to Poloniex where I know the data is there. I don't know if you can see it in the chart, but it jumps out to me because I've looked at this a few times, more than a few times. More than a few times, because we had this beautiful 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Things were looking great. We had phenomenal volume, phenomenal volume. And of course, I don't have to tell you, you can see that it took a real beating and then it made a fast 1, 2, 3 bottom. After all this time of watching it being prepared, it made a fast 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And after that, off we went to the races. And then there was this beautiful bottom, our top formation right here that we could have known as our exit. But this is what I'm kind of expecting. Bitcoin dominance just rags everybody right here. And let's see again, this is November to December of 2017. Let's go back to our Bitcoin dominance and go into a 1 daily chart view. So what was that? There it is. There it is, our November, all looking great. And then wham, everybody got their ass handed to them, and then prices really took off. So this is important that we could have that happen right now as we're setting up. There's lots of manipulation in this market. There's a lot of attention in the market. It could come down to these levels and smack everybody good and silly and then really start to go. So pay attention for those things. These are manipulated markets. And I am expecting it, and it's a conspiracy theory that may not actually manifest at all. Well, I'm glad the chat is working here today. I don't know why it didn't work before. Okay, let's go look at Zcash for Crypto Relo, and then we'll take a look at Link for smoking altcoins. A rumor that Zcash bug and IP address revealed. Oh my, that would be bad for Zcash. So I think Poloniex, get rid of my favorites, scroll down to Zcash. It certainly took a beating as Bitcoin came down, but it doesn't look like it's had a bug that everybody's freaking out and leaving. Long term, it hasn't been a very good investment, that's for sure. On the weekly view, if we look at the daily view, the exponential moving average crossed over out of this bottom formation that we were shaping up for here in December, and it's never done a pump. Never been anything to hold at all the way through this. A little bit of bullshit here, and then pissing off the roof formation as we have this 1, 2, 3 formation failed, and down it went. It's making a 1, 2, 3 formation now, and it could take off and turn around. But you know, if you've been watching me now, I think all of the privacy coins are going to be made restricted or illegal or whatever. The Security and Exchange Commission in the United States will restrict them. And it'll be good for the rest of the cryptos, because then we can have bad cryptos and we can have good cryptos rather than all cryptos, you know, with this a little bit bad territory. So nothing doing on here. We never had this in our portfolio probably all the way along, because it never did a bottom formation that broke out higher on the 12-hour time frame that lasted for sure anyway, right here in June and July. Let's go to June and July in our Poloniex MarketWatch spreadsheet, and let's go back. Some bug going on here. It's not loading properly right now. ZRX June and July. There's February, March, April, May. Oh, Here's June and July. Zcash, we did hold it for a little bit, and then we got kicked out as the exponential moving averages crossed over. So then we didn't hold it again the whole time, which is phenomenal to have a trading system that'll get you in when it's positive and get you out when it's not looking good. Beautiful, actually. Let me clear this off and zoom in on this to the 12-hour time frame. So we should have been taking a position along in this time frame. And then we should have had our stop loss. We could have been kicked out here. We could have been kicked out here if we had put our stop loss just above our entry after we got into it. So this is a difficult, you're always in and out on these small little bits. And then when the 4-hour exponential moving average crossed over there, if we pull this back now to that time frame, you can see when it's clear for us to get out. Right in here. So even if we did get in at a bit, we got out before it turned into a loss, a heavy loss. All right. Hey, PC Baxter, good to have you along. I got to go back now and do Link over on Binance, and then I'll catch up on what's next in the stream here. So I'm looking at, scrolling down to Link, 3-month view. Hey, Link looks like it's taking off and breaking out. The other day, I was expecting this might be pulling back because we were overbought and the price started to break through this territory. I thought, okay, it's coming back as we were coming through this period here. And as this is building up higher highs and we're getting flat, that is also kind of a negative divergence. Even though we're double topping here, I'm still watching for the exit as this is coming up. We're up to important support and resistance levels. So if it does break out above that, it would be a good idea to have a small little position and wait for it to stage above these levels before adding on more. I believe in this coin. I believe in the technology, and the market really believes in it too. I think it's going to be going up. But when you're first starting out a trade, that's always the most dangerous point. And according to the Fear and Greed book, the better traders are fearful at the beginning of a trade and the poorer traders are greedy at the beginning of a trade. So now this doesn't get my greed because it's already broken out of the 1, 2, 3 and we've had the crossover. Now it's up and going higher. I don't want to buy high and sell higher. I wanted to buy low and sell higher. And so even though it could break up from here, I would be really nervous about it. I want it to come back and give me an internal 1, 2, 3 formation for me to really take action on that. Even if it is breaking higher, maybe if I want to FOMO in, I could do it with a tiny position so that I know that I'm making some percentage gains as it's coming up and I'm not actually missing out on it. If I really have to, then I can go for a super small trade. But I can't jump in on that yet right here. Let me go on. Type in -1 sign, then the ticker symbol. Okay, I'm going to do that. Let me type in timeless -1 sign. I don't know. I don't know. I'll practice that. I'll look for that because I do want to flip these charts upside down and look at them. I appreciate that tip. I'm just too dumb to pick it up right now. So why do I use this site versus TradingView? Because of the navigation along the side. And I've just gotten used to it. And so I am practicing with TradingView now. I was on TradingView in 2015 and I had a beef with them because they take ownership and stewardship of your content. They own it. You can't do anything with your content once you publish it there. It's not yours anymore. And I thought that's pretty low budge that they are really taking ownership of your work. So I stopped publishing there. Enter the code MINNOW to save 20% on the Binance alerts. I'll just segue over to take a look at that. These are live results from our spreadsheet that shows the top altcoin signals that we've put out over the last while. So we caught this move on Vibe, MDA, KNC, WPR, and we're up 27, 27, 30, 32% on these trades. Lots of the early movers, we caught them as they're moving. So we did catch that link trade earlier when it was pulled back. So we got in at 1 and all those 8s. One and all those 8. So we didn't get in that long ago, but it was a break above this level that we took that as our consolidation signal. So there's probably a better place to have entered on it, but of course, hindsight is always 2020. That's the better place to enter. But as this consolidated, that gives us another place to have the potential to enter. So we got our stop loss above our entry now, and we can sit on that. If prices do come back to these levels, we will reconsider the trade and look for another entry if it kicks us out. But for now, we got a good entry on that. It's up nicely. So let me go back to the chat now. Just follow Hike and Ashi. Respect your trading strategy. Never move your stop loss unless you're on profit. The way you get into a trade at the beginning is the most important. And I talk about that in the free webinar that you can get from the website. It's stage 2 of the trade, and it's where half the trading mistakes are made. Stage 4 of the trade is where the other half of the mistakes are made. And if I get in too large of a trade at the beginning and I don't have any extra money to add on, then I'm taking my biggest risk off the beginning and I'll take my biggest losses, even if I get out right away. So it's always better to feather in those risks at the beginning. It's the hardest part of the trade. And if you can eliminate and reduce the losses by being smaller at the beginning of the trade, wait till you have some profit to sit on, then add on the main trade. You know that these trends take months to unfold. So we really want to take our time folding into this so that we are buying a position and holding it. Let the market do its thing, knowing it's going to consolidate. It's going to consolidate over and over and over. There will be time. Never FOMO and chase the market with the market order as it's breaking out. Don't do as I've done. Z-Bug discussed in Dash Discord from the Computer Nerds. So Cryptorello, you're welcome. BNB versus BTC. BNB is a particular chart pattern, and there are a few of the coins that are looking pretty much like BNB. Come on now, jump out at me. Why is this? BNB. And the pattern is ugly. What I'm looking for the best coins and the ones that we're holding here, if we go through these Vibe, MDA, WPR, LRC, CND, IOTA, all of these coins pretty much, the ones that are turning profit, they made this bottom formation in August, just like Binance did. And then they made some lows here, but from this position, they flipped and they went up this way, and they are now established above these levels here. So we have a group of coins that are showing this pattern, and we went long on those. We bought those. And we have a group of coins that failed below this level, and they're hanging out down like this. There's a real divergence in the market. There's a real split in how things went from this time, where everything was really matching similarly here. But then there was a split right in this time where some of them went down like this and some of them went up. So Ethereum went up like this. EOS went up like this. Let's go take a look at some of these. Vibe and MDA. I think MDA is on the way to Vibe. Let's see if I see it first. MDA. There's our pattern. So here's the August bottom. It didn't do much of a dip here, but then it staged up above. It's not as clear. What was the other one? Vibe KNC. K. HIJK. Okay, this is better. We had the bottom in August, and then it's staged above that specific bottom. So we can see this time where things split, where some of the coins dropped from here, and some of the coins went up from here. So of course we were watching for the 1, 2, 3 bottoms, and we were able to filter out just the coins that were taking off and going up, and we got into those. The rest we just didn't touch them yet. We'll watch them. They could be coming up on the next wave of coins. And as we watched from December till April the 1st, there were specific coins that went up on wave 1, and then they pulled back and they sort of went flat. And then there was this second group of coins that went up later. They made bottom formations that took a lot longer for them to mature and go up. So, of course, we want to hold those first wave when they're going up and get out when they're topping out. And then we'll be redistributing our money over into the coins that are now ready to go up from that point. So we could be into some really great stair stepping as, look at this massive bottom setting up. Way better than this one. A much nicer looking pattern. So we're in for some great stuff coming out of these. Really great. What are we up on this already? KNC. We're up 27% on that trade already, and it hasn't even started. Because we got in here, our stop is above our entry now. There's nothing to do but wait for it. And if you've been watching, you know we're going to wait for it to hit the 50% level and then add on to it. Great to have subscribers. I appreciate you guys joining in. If you find value in this stuff, for sure, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, share this on other social media. If it's helping you and you'd like to pass on the good stuff, share it on other social media. Let's get the word out there. So let me go on now. Where do we go to get those live results page? This one I'll share in the chat. Actually, let me share the link right to this instead of the hopefully that link gets you there. And there's another page that has a little bit different layout. That one's a bit more pretty, but you can go on to the sales page as well. There's more details there, and that's pulled right out of our live spreadsheet. Let me go to the Binance trades or Binance wins. So here's the live spreadsheet where you can see the open profit and loss on these coins right now, which is phenomenal. Really great to see that. Took a long time of following those charts before they finally gave us our nice bottom formation and picked up off of there. And so you can get all of these alerts. You can get these pre-qualified trade alert status long before the trade signal is triggered, and we give you a PDF that you can follow through every day to check things out. We give you these alerts that come up in Discord so that you get real-time alerts as it's happening. Check it all out. Be great to have you along. It's a labor of love, and I hope to share the good stuff. So about stop losses, T. Torchin says, when you first open your position, do you have to set your stop loss below your trade? But your plan says the second you can, move the stop loss above the entry to prevent losses. There is an art form and a science to setting stop losses. So it depends on your risk tolerance, what you want to do out of it. But say that we had this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here breaking out, and we put on a position here. Knowing that we're at these historical lows, some traders would have a small enough position that they could leave their stop loss all the way back here. And they're not going to pay attention to this again. They're just going to let the market do its thing. And they're just going to trust that we're at these bottoms. We're turning around. There's enough signs in the market. And they're just going to leave it. But the position size is small enough, maybe 0.5% of your account. And as it comes down here, maybe it'll be a 10% loss on that. So overall for your entire account, it doesn't really account to much. But once prices do stage up above these levels, now you've got this cushion of profit that you can put on a larger trade and be more certain of safety. So as prices are going up, here's the art form of setting that stop loss is if you were to go into this trade here and you bought in, and then you move your stop loss just a hair above your position, dollars to donuts, prices come down and goes one Satoshi below your stop loss, kicks you out, and then the price goes up and you lose your profitable position. You have to reposition, try to get back into it someplace else, which is a pain in the ass. So when I'm doing that, every time I move the stop loss according to my numbers, it screws me up. I have to move my stop loss according to the technical levels. I have to leave it behind technical levels, and I like to leave it behind 2 technical levels. So as this moves up to here now, I can only move my stop loss up to this one. It has to be 2 technical levels back. As it comes up in stages, then I can be up to here, 2 technical levels back. If it stages again, I can move my stop loss up to here. 2 technical levels back as one idea. And then of course we get out when the exponential moving averages cross over after we have a top formation. That's part of our take profit notice. And we did have it here. So this gets into a whole bunch of variability after this 1, 2, 3 bottom, which is why I made the course, because I can teach you the 1, 2, 3 bottom, but then there's so many complexities as you're going through the trade. It just built out until it's a course that you can go through. And we're running the next course again soon. There's limited spots in it. And of course, I'm going to pitch the course because I think it's awesome. And you can go to the Learn Crypto Trading link here and learn details about that as that course is setting up. So you can get a bot that auto raises your stop loss price as it goes up. Yes, you can. So there's a whole different range of strategies for using your stop. Everything is going up right now in Satoshis and in dollar. Yes, that is awesome. And it should be going up in Satoshis and in dollar if the Bitcoin dominance is dropping. So as Bitcoin dominance dropped from March to July of 2017, the alts went bananas. They were going up in Satoshi value, so they were going up faster than Bitcoin, and they were going up in dollar value because Bitcoin was going up at that time. So it was a double whammy. It was awesome. But Bitcoin dominance looks like it's running out of steam. It looks like we will have altcoin season setting up. So there will be more of these coins setting up. And there will be time for us to stage into this because we should see a parallel channel. Can I grab one here? I don't know the angle of the parallel channel yet. That's the earliest indicator we have of it as it's coming down. Which means that we can anticipate altcoin season will have a nitro spot here and here as prices are building out and pulling back to the 50% level and then building way up higher and pulling back to the 50% level. As this is giving us this pattern, we should see spots for our alts to be taking off. Alrighty, where is my? There we are. Let me go back to the chat. Everything is going up right now. Yeah, you can use a trailing stop depending on the platform you're trading on. So if you're over on Bitmex, they do have a trailing stop method for following your trades as you go. So for my own part, I try not to use those because there's the two errors that most traders make, and I've made more than just the two errors. But one is to put on too large of a position at the beginning of a trade, which is increasing your risk when you should be smaller risk, and build onto it when you're after you're proven correct. The other mistake of most traders is taking your profits too soon. And so I want to filter that mistake out of my trades by having a multi-staged trade where I can get into a part of my trade here and I put my stop loss above it and I forget about it. Afterwards, and it comes to this formation, now I can put on a trade that I'm going to pay attention to, and I'm going to watch this trade. As it goes up, I'm going to get out of it as my trailing stop follows it. So I've pulled a second wad of money out of the market as it's done this, and then it's come back up and done this. Here's my second wad of money I can pull out. And my first chunk of cash maybe also gets out at the same time here. Maybe it doesn't, I don't get out until even here. But you can see how you layer on different positions and you treat them differently when you're in the middle of a trade. You treat this differently throughout this part of the trade. Well, that covers all of our stuff and a whole bunch more. So we really went over some great stuff here. I appreciate you guys being along because there are days where it really helps me go into further detail than I would have on my own. And then, of course, I have the added benefit of coming back and watching this video later when I want to ask myself a question. What was I thinking about ADA on that day? Why didn't I do something different than what I did? I can go back, I can watch through, and then I can find my own biases. It is astonishing to me, and it's crazy that all of us can be looking at the very same chart and have a different analysis of this chart. Some people think that the price was going to be going up as we were sitting right here. There was people who were holding long positions here and they got liquidated as it went down. They were so convinced that it was going up, they held on to that. Whereas the charts were clearly saying down from there. And you know, there's been times in the past, not so long ago, that I was holding a long position here. And when I look back and I see what I learned from that was to go short on that formation, and I did. It worked out well. So you can learn this stuff. You can correct your own biases. You can find the patterns that are showing us which way the prices are going. And I hope that this channel is helping you. I hope it's helping you identify those patterns and understanding when to take risk and when not to take risk. If you crossed the road, you looked both ways, and then you crossed the road 1,000 times and you crossed the road successfully without getting run over, you would not stop looking both ways just because you've done it 1,000 times successfully. You would still look both ways because if you didn't, it could kill you. So it's the same thing with our trading, that we have to have our risk control plan in place and we have to use it every single time. Even if we've traded 100 times, 1,000 times successfully and never had to, you never had to use your seatbelt, never had to jump out of the way of a car, we have to have our risk control rules that we follow. Well, I hope you followed along what I was telling you there rather than what I was saying, because the audio was off. Sorry about that. So the way to register, of course, the reason to register is to have access to some of the paid areas in the course. So you can click on the Learn Crypto Trading and click on a package. It'll bring you to the cart page. And as I showed, you can use the coupon code MINNOW and you'll save 20% off of everything. So $52 off of that. $208, you'll get access to the alerts for the pro package of the alerts for 3 months. If you join the course coming up, you get 1 month free of the crypto alert package. So, and lifetime access to the course. Some really awesome stuff going on there. So I appreciate the question. Yes, I did check out the chart for Link. You must have been looking the other way. So hopefully the sound kicked back in while I was explaining that. I think I'm behind now on lag. But I'll sign off after one more look at Bitcoin price. Just zoom in here. I have been expecting a bounce, and it is not giving me what I expected. I was expecting that we were going to come up off of this area and up to 9,000 and do a bounce just from the RSI and everything, and it's not doing that. So certainly breaks below these levels, I'm going to have to come back and observe all of these indicators to see what is up, because they were showing such positive divergences there. I was expecting a bounce. Let's see how it goes. Okay, the sound's back on. Where was the link to seeing the live profit and results? If you are going to the Binance Alerts. Just click on the Binance Alerts tab up there, and this lightning fast website will load up. And you can see here the check out the live alert signal results. So you can see we got in KNC at 1741 Satoshi, and each one of these comes with the screenshot of the chart itself when we do the alert. So it's really quite awesome. And it's taken a year of putting this all together to have it working so that it's automated, so that we have a bot that takes details from the spreadsheet as it's happening and sends it out to our Discord chat here so that you can follow this stuff. Not only do you get the spreadsheet that you can look into the website and sort things, and not only do you get the PDF that we send out so that you can review everything, but we have the real-time alerts that pop up here too. So I do all of the alerts. I write them up to make an alert, but then the spreadsheet updates us automatically when it turns into a hold position, and then I'm monitoring the stop losses in it. And as it comes back to hit our stop losses, it sends out the next alert to everybody. Boom. And maybe Bitcoin's going to give us some dancing here. But that'll wrap it up here for today. If you're interested, come and join us on Discord. We're talking about this stuff throughout the day, throughout the night. It's all we want to talk about. So wait for the daily close. I don't care about the close of the candles. Everybody gets all excited about the daily close, the weekly close, and you're zoomed in too close if you are watching for the close of one candle. Which is why if we go to the spreadsheet and we go back a ways, we can see that it's okay. If you bought in this day or that day or this day, you really don't have to be hitting the bullseye in the middle. There's no need to FOMO in that close to everything. And especially say you've got one Bitcoin and you're going to buy into the first 50 markets that start to take off. I'd say take your Bitcoin and split it up into 50 pieces, then take those 50 pieces and break them in all into half. So I would put in half of my position as it started to turn green here, and then maybe later there's a time I could put on the second half of my position because it's proven me correct and I've got some stuff going on. Then you would just wait for it to turn into blue to take off half of your position, and then the second blue to take off the second half of your position. And you really don't have to be that accurate. So if you're waiting for the weekly close, the daily close and stuff like that, they do have that's a good spot on the chart to be paying attention to, but it's a smooth thing. It's like looking at the color of the rainbow changing from blue to purple. It's such a smudgy area. You don't have to be that close, my thinking anyway. So everybody's waiting to see how this week ends. Maybe next week the alts will bleed again. The front cover page graphs look much better on the spreadsheet. They are not loading up properly here for me right now. And it happens sometimes because there's so many calculations for this spreadsheet to do. If I go over to the Poloniex and drag it all over, you can see it's got to count up all of the different squares for every different color, and it's just calfing out here. Except for these rows. So I tried to take the formula, copy and paste it. Let me clear this off. File, delete values, and paste the formula back in, but it just, okay. Let me do this. Edit, delete values, and paste the formula back in. Maybe I'm overloading. Oh, there we go. See, it's loading up now. You can see it taking its time. So if I go back to the cover, we'll see it slowly build the chart now as it adds those all back up. So this has happened to me before. Wicked. I'll go and do that to the Binance one. But I'll let you guys go. Monthly close tomorrow. Good to have you guys here. I appreciate everybody who's here. I see that we got a ton more people now signed up for watching all of this because we're doing a patron special here this week. I want to upgrade this spreadsheet so that it sends out an automatic email every day and when we have 20 patron sponsors, I'm going to pay to have that upgrade done in this spreadsheet. So right now we have 7 spots remaining. There should be fewer than that. There should be 6 spots remaining at the $15 per month to become a patron sponsor. And you'll have access to this spreadsheet so that we update it for you every day. And there's a ton of great stuff. Watch the video about it. I'll share a link to it. So it'd be great to have a few more patron sponsors here to help us pay for that spreadsheet upgrade. And then every single day, rather than having to log in here and take a look at which are the Poloniex markets that are on alert status, which are the Poloniex markets that are on hold status, I want to have that emailed every day to everybody who is a patron sponsor. So we'll have a list of what is happening today on Poloniex, on Binance, and we'll have that automatically sent to us at the end of the day so that all of this data is fresh and in our hands. So if you're interested in supporting these live streams and you'd like to have that bonus information at the same time, I think that information is phenomenally valuable. And I think if I was doing marketing and all that kind of stuff, this would be a very much more expensive package. I'm certain that this could be sold for big bucks. There, that'll rebuild this one. So that wraps it up here for me. I will continue on over on the Discord chat, and I'll see a whole bunch of you there later. Come and join us on Patreon sponsor. $15 a month gets you access to all this stuff. Or come and join us as an alert package and enter the code MINNOW in order to save that 20% off of one of these trading packages so that you get the details, exact order entries and exits, not just the color coding, but much more detailed. And I'll sign off here, and I'll sign off here. Cheers. Bye for now.